That morning in the coffee shop felt utterly ordinary until the barista handed me my latte and slipped in a comment that shattered my carefully built facade. She mentioned what my daughter had shared with her during a casual chat, and suddenly all the grief I'd buried deep inside came rushing to the surface. I had no idea then that those words would force me to confront my isolation, rediscover hope, and learn that healing sometimes arrives in the most unexpected forms. Hi, I'm Elena. I'm 38, living in a quiet suburb outside Seattle, Washington, where the rain never seems to stop and the evergreens stand like silent guardians. I've been raising my daughter, Mia, alone for the past 5 years since my divorce from my ex-husband, Alex. I run a small bookstore downtown, nothing glamorous, just shelves of used paperbacks, cozy reading nooks, and the faint scent of old pages that keeps me grounded. Customers see me as the cheerful owner, recommending thrillers or romances with a warm smile. They don't glimpse the evenings when I stare at the ceiling, the untouched dinner plates, or the way memories sneak up like shadows in the fog. Alex and I parted ways after years of growing apart, our priorities shifting until we were strangers sharing a home. The divorce was mutual but left scars, mostly the guilt of raising Mia in a fractured family. Time hasn't erased the ache, it just reshapes it. Sometimes it's the smell of pine air freshener that reminds me of our old life. Other times, it's Mia asking why Daddy lives across town. Mostly, it's the quiet house after bedtime, where the rain tapping on the roof amplifies the emptiness. Every day after closing the shop, I pick Mia up from school. It's our ritual, her bounding out with her ponytail swinging, me mustering energy to match her enthusiasm. On that drizzly Wednesday, everything unfolded as usual. The school bus hadn't arrived yet, so I waited in my car, scrolling through emails. Mia spotted me and ran over, her rain boots splashing puddles. She looked bright-eyed, full of stories about art class. I was about to buckle her in when her after-school program coordinator, Mr. Daniel Reed, approached the window. He's in his early 40s, with a gentle demeanor, wire-rimmed glasses, and a voice that soothes like a well-worn novel. "Mrs. Vargas," he said, "do you have a moment?" My stomach nodded instantly. I assumed Mia had forgotten homework or caused some minor mischief. I rolled down the window, forcing a grin. "Of course, what's going on?" He paused, glancing at Mia, who was humming in the back seat. Then he spoke softly, almost reluctantly. "Mia mentioned something today during our group activity. She said, 'Mommy's always sad at night.'" The words landed like a punch. I blinked, trying to process them. Was it sympathy in his eyes or something kinder? I brushed it off with a chuckle. Oh, kids and their imaginations. She's probably just picking up on my long days at the store. He didn't push, just offered a nod. "She's a bright girl, Elena. You two make a great team." I thanked him quickly and drove off, my hands gripping the wheel tighter than necessary. Mia chattered about her day, oblivious to how her innocent observation had exposed a crack in my armor. That evening, after tucking her in with a story about adventurous explorers, I collapsed on the couch with a glass of wine. "Mommy's always sad at night," the phrase echoed relentlessly. What had I let slip? A sigh during dinner? A distant stare out the window? I'd convinced myself I was shielding her from my sorrow, but children perceive the unspoken truths we adults try to hide. I microwaved some leftovers, even though hunger had fled, and gazed at the misty backyard. The neighborhood was hushed, save for the distant hum of traffic on the interstate. It had been ages since anyone pierced through my solitude like that, not from a friend or relative, but via my 8-year-old and her coordinator. The days following blurred into routine. Mornings meant brewing coffee, packing Mia's lunch with apple slices, and notes saying, "You're my sunshine," then opening the bookstore to the chime of a bell. I'd lose myself in inventory, chatting with regulars about the latest bestsellers, pretending normalcy. But in lulls between customers, Daniel's voice resurfaced. Mommy's always sad at night. It wasn't merely the content. It was his compassionate delivery, devoid of judgment, as if he truly saw me. That sort of empathy resonates deeply when you've isolated yourself for so long. That Friday, the skies opened up in a classic Pacific Northwest torrent. Right as school let out, thunder rumbled, and sheets of rain blurred the windshield. I dashed to the entrance with an umbrella, drenched by the time I reached cover. The halls buzzed with excited kids and harried parents. Mia waved from the program room, her drawing in hand. "Mom, look what I made." Before we could escape, Daniel appeared, holding a stack of flyers. "Rough weather out there," he noted. "Why not wait inside?" "I've got some hot chocolate brewing for the kids and tea for adults." I wavered. Politeness urged refusal to avoid implying I craved companionship. But Mia had already darted back to her friends, and the idea of battling traffic in the storm appealed less, so I stepped in. The room smelled of crayons, damp coats, and chamomile. He poured me a mug, and we settled at a low table that made me feel comically oversized. "Thanks," I murmured. "This is kind," he shrugged with a smile. "You seem like you could use a break." We started with easy topics, Mia's progress in reading, his love for organizing creative workshops, how the rain made everything feel introspective. Then, unbidden, I confessed, I haven't really opened up to anyone in years. Not since the divorce. He listened without interrupting, his gaze steady. I continued, voice barely above a whisper. "Alex and I, we just drifted apart. We tried for Mia, but it wasn't enough. I've been carrying that failure, keeping life simple to avoid more hurt." Daniel's face held quiet understanding. "I'm so sorry, Elena. That kind of loss reshapes everything." I nodded, sipping tea to steady myself. "It does. I stopped dreaming of anything beyond the day-to-day. Love feels like a distant memory." He leaned back slightly. "I get that. After my sister passed from illness a few years back, I threw myself into work, thinking it would fill the void. But maybe connection isn't about perfection, it's about sharing the load." His words lingered amid the patter of rain. Mia bounded over with a puzzle piece. "Mr. Reed, help." He chuckled, assisting her, then glanced up at me with a warmth that wasn't pity, but shared humanity. As the storm subsided, I gathered our things. "Thanks for the refuge," I said. He nodded. "Anytime, and Elena?" "You're stronger than you realize." I managed a genuine smile. On the drive home, Mia pointed out rainbows peeking through clouds, and I found myself humming along. That night, with her asleep, I lingered by the window, pondering Daniel, how effortless our talk felt, how it hinted at possibility. It wasn't infatuation, just a subtle spark, like sunlight breaking through fog after endless gray days. For once, the solitude didn't weigh as heavily. The weekend passed in a haze of bookstore duties and Mia's playdates. I tried dismissing our conversation as fleeting kindness, but it clung. Every time I dropped Mia off Monday, Daniel was there, offering a wave that quickened my pulse. It wasn't romance. It was vulnerability resurfacing after I'd vowed to bury it. At the shop, my assistant, Carla, noticed my distraction. "You okay, boss?" "You seem lighter." I laughed it off. "Just the caffeine." But she was spot on. I was emerging from hibernation. The following Tuesday, Mia had her first soccer game of the season. She'd been buzzing with excitement all week, practicing kicks in her tiny backyard. That morning, she tugged at my sleeve over breakfast. "Mom, can Mr. Reed come to my game?" I told him about it, and he said he'd try. I froze mid-sip of coffee, caught off guard. "Why'd you invite him, sweetie?" She shrugged, all innocence. "Because he's nice, and he said he likes soccer." I managed to smile, but my stomach churned with unease. The idea of Daniel showing up felt like stepping into uncharted territory, too close to something I wasn't ready to name. At the field, the air was crisp, the grass damp from morning dew. Parents lined the sidelines, cheering as kids chased the ball with chaotic enthusiasm. I scanned the crowd, half expecting not to see him, half hoping I would. Then there he was, near the bleachers in a navy sweater, holding a thermos. Mia spotted him first, sprinting over with a grin. "Mr. Reed, you came." He high-fived her, laughing. "Wouldn't miss it, champ." He glanced at me, his smile easy but tentative, like he wasn't sure of his place. "Hope it's okay I showed up," he said. I nodded, throat tight. "Of course." Mia's thrilled. We stood side by side, watching her dart across the field. She wasn't the star player, but her effort was fierce, all heart. "She's got spirit," Daniel remarked. "Like her mom." I glanced at him, surprised by the warmth in his tone. "I don't know about that. I'm just trying to keep up." He chuckled softly. "You're doing more than that, Elena." The game ended in a tie, and Mia begged us to grab milkshakes at the diner nearby. I hesitated, that familiar instinct to retreat kicking in, but her pleading eyes won out. "All right," I said, catching Daniel's amused look. "You're welcome to join." At the diner, Mia dominated the conversation, recounting every play while slurping her strawberry shake. Daniel listened with genuine interest, asking her questions that made her beam. Watching them, I felt a pang not of jealousy, but of longing for something I hadn't let myself imagine in years. A family, a shared laugh over a sticky table. Then Daniel turned to me, his voice low. "You don't talk much about yourself, do you?" I stirred my shake, avoiding his gaze. "Not much to tell." "Work, Mia, repeat." He tilted his head. "I don't buy that." "You've got a whole world in there you're not sharing." I laughed nervously. "You sound like a therapist." He grinned. "Just observant." "Grief's heavy, but it's not all you are." His words hit hard, peeling back layers I'd kept hidden. I wanted to argue, to say I was fine, but instead I said, "It's easier to focus on Mia than to think about what I've lost." He nodded, no judgment in his eyes. "Fair, but maybe you deserve to find something new too." The moment hung between us, interrupted only by Mia's giggle as she smeared whipped cream on her nose. Driving home, she fell asleep in the back seat, and I caught myself smiling in the rearview mirror. Daniel's presence lingered, a quiet challenge to my self-imposed isolation. Days turned into weeks, and our interactions grew frequent casual chats at pickup. A shared pizza night after Mia's school play. I noticed small changes in myself, humming while shelving books, lingering at the mirror to fix my hair. Carla teased, "Someone's got a spring in her step." I brushed it off, but I couldn't deny it. I was feeling again. One evening, while cleaning out Mia's backpack, I found a crumpled drawing, me, her and Daniel under a rainbow, labeled "Best Day." My heart clenched. She saw something I was too scared to admit, a possibility of joy beyond survival. I drove to the school on impulse, the drawing tucked in my pocket. Daniel was in his office, organizing art supplies. "Elena, everything okay?" he asked, surprised. I held up the drawing, voice unsteady. "Mia made this. She thinks of you as part of our world." His eyes softened as he studied it. "She's got a big heart." I swallowed hard. "She does, and it scares me. I've kept things simple to protect her, but maybe I'm protecting myself more." He stepped closer, his voice gentle. "You're allowed to be scared. You've been through hell, but you're still here, building a life for her, and maybe for you too." I looked at him, really looked, and saw someone who'd carried his own pain yet chose kindness. "I don't know how to start over," I admitted. "I don't either," he said. "But maybe we figure it out one step at a time." We stood there, the hum of the school's heater filling the silence. For the first time, I didn't want to run from the vulnerability. I handed him the drawing. "She'd want you to keep this." He smiled, tucking it carefully into a folder. "I'll treasure it." Months later, Daniel got an offer for a program director position in Portland, Oregon. It was a big step, better pay, more responsibility, but it meant leaving Seattle. He told me over coffee at the bookstore, his voice tinged with excitement and nerves. It's a fresh start, he said, then hesitated. But I keep thinking about you and Mia. My heart raced. I'd grown used to his presence dinners, park outings, Mia's endless stories. What are you saying? I asked. He took a breath. Come with me. Both of you. I know it's a lot, but I want us to be together. I froze, the weight of the decision pressing down. Leaving my bookstore, Mia's school, the life I built it, was daunting. But then I thought of Mia's drawing, of laughter over milkshakes, of feeling alive again. I talked to Mia that night. What if we moved to a new city with Mr. Reed? Her eyes lit up. Like a family? My throat tightened. Yeah, sweetie, like that. She hugged me and I knew. We packed up our lives, sold the bookstore to Carla, who'd always dreamed of running it, and said tearful goodbyes to friends. In Portland, we settled into a cozy house with a backyard for Mia's soccer practice. Daniel was there every step, helping us unpack, exploring parks with Mia, holding my hand when doubts crept in. Alex, now living across town in Seattle, supported the move, wanting Mia's happiness. Our divorce had been amicable, rooted in irreconcilable differences, and he'd found his own path. One spring evening, under cherry blossoms in a Portland park, Daniel proposed. Mia was our flower girl 6 months later, her grin brighter than the sun as we said our vows. The ceremony was small, just close friends, Mia scattering petals, and Alex there clapping warmly, at peace with our new chapter. In our new home, we built a life, Daniel coaching Mia's team, me starting a book club, all of us laughing over burnt dinners. Mia's drawings now covered our fridge, us three, always under rainbows. As I tucked her in one night, she whispered, I'm glad we're a family, Mom. I kissed her forehead, tears falling. Me too, sweetie. The past hadn't vanished, but it no longer defined us. We were whole together, starting anew.